Well, hello there, sweet friends, and welcome to Stellar J Studios. I'm Gina, and I'm so happy you are here with me. I am working on part 2 of Can You Add New Stories to an Old Journal? And the answer is yes. So I'll link part 1 in this video, so if you haven't caught that one, you can go back and watch it. For those of you that have seen it, and for those of you that have been with me for a while, you know this journal because this is one that I created back in 2017. And by the way, I'm doing this voiceover outside, so I hope the wind is not causing too much interference with the sound here. But this is a journal I created back in 2017 out of an old cookbook, and it was a huge cookbook. And I loved the cover. I got it at, an estate sale last day. They were getting ready to throw everything away, which is my favorite time to go to an estate sale. Anyway, so this journal is huge. I worked in it a lot back in 2017, 18. I think there was even some that I did in 2019. And then it kind of got full, and I don't know, I kind of switched the way I was doing my art. Most of the stuff in this journal is kind of scrapbookish, and I was afraid to use that word for so long because I didn't want to give people an old-fashioned feeling or some sort of like cookie cutter art type feeling. There's a lot of bad I don't know, stigma, I guess, that goes with scrapbooking. And I've decided now, no, I'm going to embrace it. I'm a scrapbooker. I was a scrapbooker. I've always been a scrapbooker, and I'm going to continue to be a scrapbooker. But I scrapbook in a journal, and that's what I was doing in this journal. So I kind of got away from that for a while and kind of developed some other artistic skills and techniques. And so it was fun to come back to this journal and to do a scrapbook type of spread. And this is about my dog, Wendell, and us going to the park. So I chose some pages that I thought would be good for this spread that I wanted to do. And it turns out that I think I do 3 pages because it's like the front of one, which is what I'm working on right here. And then there's a little flap, and then fold it over or turn that page. And then there's two pages that are, just facing each other. And so I ended up taking all that space. So these little photos that I have, I printed off on my printer, and it's nothing special. It's just a regular printer, and I think I did use some photo paper, and I cut them down to some small sizes, like about, I don't know, 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, just because it fits in there better. I've gotten a lot looser with my photography and my photos and pictures and such, and here's how I've changed. I used to be very, very particular about my pictures. I would have them printed off by an online service, and I would make sure it was the highest quality, and blah blah blah. And then I realized somewhere in the last, I don't know, 5-6 years, that way of thinking is not, it doesn't need to be that way, because I have embraced, we are in the digital age, I have embraced everything being online, and I do still print out my photos, but I don't do it as diligently as I used to. I used to print them out like, once a month, and oh my gosh, that cost me a lot of money. Plus, it took up a lot of space because I would have to then store those pictures. But now what I have decided is that I will keep them digital, and, maybe once a year I'll print off the ones I really, really want. If there are some photos like these that I want to use in my art, then I will print them off, but it will just be on my computer, and it'll be on, if I have photo paper, awesome. If not, just regular paper, because I've given up on that these things are the most precious things in the world. Now, I still believe they are, but the actual photo itself is not necessarily as precious as a photo from my great-grandparents, because I have it backed up and I have it so many different places that I can go get it. So that's been a very hard pill to swallow for me, but it has been kind of freeing, because now I'm just like, oh, I'll just go print it off, and if it's on, regular copy paper, cool. And it's no big deal, because I always have it backed up somewhere. And because I am such a lover of photography, I have mine backed up like 3 different places because I do still think photos are the best part of my art spreads and journal spreads and such. So I'm just putting the photos down and kind of adding some little elements that I felt like enhancing the story. So some storybook pages from old children's books that maybe had, like this one is talking about a tree and a flower, and I have a little image of a squirrel there. And I picked that page, so you can see the one on the right, that page in my journal, because those trees remind me of the trees that are at this park. And so I thought it kind of all enhanced and helped tell this story. Now, in the first video, my dilemma was, how do I add something to this journal and let it or make it match what I had already done several years ago, but also show how I have changed and evolved. Oh, there's my dog. He's yawning right now. How it shows how I am now as an artist. And now I'm more, I guess, free with painting, and I've really embraced my drawing style. It's not, like professional grade. I'm going to have $1 million artistry type stuff here, but it's me being able to draw images that I see to help tell a story. And that's really what I've wanted for so long, is I wanted to be comfortable with drawing, so that I didn't have to rely on photos, and I didn't have to rely on book pages and ephemera. I still wanted to get the feel of what I saw, but I wanted to have other options. So I'm still keeping like lots of layers and collage, and that'll help tie it back to everything else that's in this journal. But I'm doing a lot of paint, and nothing, super complicated here. It's just a lot of pretty much just washes. I'm just washing paint. I chose just a few colors. I'm trying to keep it all the same tones and the same color palette as the photos and as the pages that I'm using in the journal. I'm using crayons. Okay, so I love crayons and I feel very free with them. So, oh yeah, big mistake right here. I was trying to use some of that glitter, and woo, it came out in a blob. So, hey, lucky day. I get to now spread that glitter all over my pages. But I'm trying to incorporate what was already there and then put my spin on it. So here's my spin. I drew some flowers, and these are just kind of flowers that made me think of this day that we went to the park, or these Fridays that we go to the park, because it is fall. And so flowers are looking kind of droopy, and there's some sunflowers here where I live, and lots of different cone flowers and echinacea and wildflowers, and they're kind of getting droopy because it's the end of the season. And so I just wanted to put those in, and it's just adding another element, and it personalizes this. It makes this like, it's like putting my stamp on it, like, hey, this is Gina Johnson's work. And I love that. I love to have my own unique, I don't know, style or signature. And one of the things I've always done is like fabric or stitching. And I always like to put photos because, nobody's going to have the same photos that I do. But now I can add something else. I can add my own drawings, and I'm okay with that. I've embraced the quirky, messy, very I don't know, rudimentary drawing, I guess. So like on the right-hand side, that's a fort, and the reason why I put that on there is because there's this cool little place in the park that Wendell and I like to go to, and it's all these forts that kids can play in. And so I just wanted to throw down my interpretation of those forts. And as I drew that fort, I looked at the image up above, which was a piece of paper that I had done in my chromatography video. And I kind of decided, you know what, that kind of looks like a fort too. So once I discovered, okay, I have two forts on here, then I found this log cabin picture, and I was like, okay, let's just put all three of them on there because it kind of tells the story. Now, I didn't really have like this aha moment of where this story was headed and why it was so important until just now. And it was that little journaling that I just wrote. And once I wrote that down, I was like, oh my gosh, that's why this is so significant. That's why taking him to the park and doing this little routine that we do, and even just the park itself, that's why this is so special. And it's because it reminds me of my youngest son, who is now 25, but when he was a little kid, he was just like a little puppy. And we would go on all kinds of adventures together. And that's what this reminded me of. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. And I hope you do something creative today. Bye.